Safe You Talks. Welcome to the first episode of Safe You Talks. My name is Nare, and I'm joined today by my dear friend Shoushan Keshishian. Thank you, Shoushan, for joining us and being the first guest on our series.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Before we begin, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Safe You Talks. Safe You Talks is going to be an ongoing series where we invite different guests to talk about either their interests or something that they're experts in. Safe You Talks is run by Safe You Armenia, and Safe You itself is a mobile application available in Armenia and Georgia to help women in times of danger and in everyday life. So let's begin. Shoushan, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Of course. So I'm Shoushan. I'm from Beirut. I studied political science, and then I completed my studies in the UK, where I received my master's degree in post-war recovery studies. I repatriated to Armenia in September, about a year ago now, well, over a year ago now. In the beginning, I worked at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as an Igor's Fellow, which is a program run by the Office of the High Commissioner for Diaspora Affairs. And then after working at the MFA for a while, I decided to complete my Igor's Fellowship in Artsakh. And now, after the end of the fellowship, I've decided to stay in Artsakh and work in post-war recovery there.
Wonderful. So as we can tell, your focus is in work and in education is on post-war recovery. Mm-hmm. Could you tell us a little bit about war and its effects on women specifically?
Mm-hmm. So the impact of war permeates all aspects of the lives of all groups, not just women. But there's a few specific consequences that affect women particularly. And one of those, for example, is the sexual and gender-based violence that is proven to be a tool used disproportionately against women in times of conflict. Mm-hmm. Other than that, after war, most women become the sole breadwinners of their families, which is a shift from how things used to be before the war. In addition to that, women are mostly the group that bears the burden, well, not the burden, but responsibility of raising children. So all those together create the sort of unique impact of war on women. Mm-hmm. And that's why in post-war recovery processes, women should be involved at all levels. So whether that's in peace building or reconciliation or political reconstruction or economic development, women should have a say, women should be involved because they have valuable input, they have valuable perspective. But unfortunately, so often what we see is that women are marginalized, they are left outside these processes. So yeah, that's basically in a nutshell how the relationship between war and women.
Thank you for bringing up those really important points. So I know that you're working in post-war recovery. How have you, in the last few months, worked in the field and also involved women at the same time?
Mm-hmm. So my colleague and I, Lili Takopian, we launched the Sunrise Stepanakert Art Festival, which was a multimedia festival that involved digital art and photography exhibition, in addition to film screenings, concerts, and a series of workshops. So our reasoning, our rationale behind this whole project was to promote the role of art in post-war recovery and healing, because we believe that the practice of culture and the practice of art is one of the best tools to be utilized in order to cope with the anxiety and the stress that we experience in the post-war period, in addition to helping us come to terms with everything that has transpired. So we decided to do something about it based on this logic that we had, and we launched the festival. And how we tried to involve women was by bringing in guests that were women, so almost even more than 50% of the guests that were invited, the artists, were women. And I'm actually happy to say that most of the participants that we had were women. Whether it was the workshops or the concerts, everything, we saw a significant amount of women in Artsakh attending the events, and it was great to see that. And we think the festival was a success, and we hope to make it a recurring event and have Sunrise Stepanakert next year as well.
As someone who actually went to the festival, I can definitely say I'm excited for next year's, and it's really amazing work that you and Lili did.
Thank you, so, and we're excited to see you in Stepanakert again next year.
Of course, 100%. So my next question is more general. What sort of advice would you want to give the audience that is something that you've heard before or that you've wanted someone to, I guess, tell you and maybe when you were younger?
So actually, there is one piece of advice that has stuck with me throughout the years. It was in 2016. It was during this business forum or something of the sort. I don't actually remember the woman who gave us this piece of advice, and I feel bad about that. But she told us to always choose our battles wisely. And I think that's very important. And because me, I've always been passionate about a large number of causes, a large number of like ideas. And I've had to filter that throughout the years. And I've had to really pick what really inspires me, what motivates me, and what I actually want to spend my time and energy on. And that piece of advice always comes to mind whenever I'm trying to think about whether I should go forward with an idea or, you know, push for change in whatever field it is. So yeah, that's kind of the advice I would like to share with the listeners today, to always choose your battles wisely.
Definitely some great advice that I also wish someone had told me when I was younger, because I think everyone knows that it's very easy to get burnt out, and you should definitely take care of yourself and step back.
And be intentional and thoughtful in everything that you do.
For sure. Thank you, Shoushan, for those wise words. Or more, thank
Whoever
you,
it was.
the source.
Yeah.
But in any case, thank you, Shoushan. Finally, since we are on Safe You Talks, I do want to know if you have used the application, if you are using it, and your thoughts on the Safe You application.
I do have the application on my phone, although thankfully I've never had the need to use it so far. But it always gives me this peace of mind and comfort to know that I can turn to Safe You in case anything goes wrong, because even though we live in a community that we consider safe, you can really never tell when something can go wrong. So it gives me comfort to know that I have this technology in my phone, in my pocket, that I can use at a moment's notice.
Thank you, Shoushan, for speaking with us today, and I hope you had a good time on the podcast, and I hope we'll see you again for another topic.
I would love that. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Do you want to say any of your social medias for your projects to get people to follow?
I'd actually like people to follow our new project in Artsakh, which is called Hub Artsakh. It's a co-working space and an NGO which will promote social innovation and entrepreneurship in Artsakh. So if you're ever in Stepanakert looking for a place to work, or if you want to visit but don't know if you can work from Artsakh or not, you can definitely do that. Just visit our co-working space and we will bring you good internet, good coffee, and help you get your work done.
And good company for sure, because Shoushan
company.
is lovely. So make sure to make your way to Artsakh if you are able to. Thank you everyone for listening. We will see you soon.
Bye.
Safe You available to download on Android and iOS.